What's going on, guys? Back in the shop today working on the SR hatch. Uh, got I think the last of the parts that I'm gonna need for it. Battery is on the charger, and we're going to be putting on the electronic fan controller. Just got those in today. One for my car, one for Corey's car, and then one to just have in the shop ready to go. Don't know what else. Probably gonna be cleaning up the engine bay, pressure wash the engine, paint all the edges of the holes that I just cut so that they don't rust. Painting that guy in the lower brackets that I made, whatever else needs cleaned up or painted or whatever. Oh, and also, in case you don't know, Sideways Fab, my shop, is a dealer for a couple companies. Hoonigan, got a bunch of Hoonigan stuff in stock. So if you're in the area, come by, check out what we got. Got some sweet shit. And then we're also a dealer for Cosmos wheels, AccuAir suspension, NRG. I don't know what else. A couple other guys, but if you want some great prices, hit me up here or Facebook or message Sideways Fab, and we'll get you a deal on whatever you're looking for. But let's get to the car. Quick little tip for zip ties: after you cut them, if you just hit the end of it with a lighter, it'll kind of melt the edges and not have the round points that really like to cut you while you're working in tight spots. And it just makes everything look just a little bit neater, I guess. So definitely recommend doing that. So essentially, the green wire right here I have zip tied off because that is for either air conditioning for the fans to kick on, or if you have it hooked up to a switch for whatever reason. Then these two, you'll be able to, the colors may not be exactly the same on the one you have, but the orange and blue go to the positive lead on the fans. Sometimes there's only one of these and you'll have to split it into two if you have two fans. And then pretty obviously black is the ground. The big red one goes to a constant battery supply, which I will be using this little terminal point for that. And then the yellow one goes to a switched ignition source, so when the key's on, the fans can turn on. And then this one right here, it goes to a temperature probe, which literally just gets shoved inside the radiator fins and it gets a temperature reading like that. There are ones that instead of this, they have a threaded in, no picture of it, but they have one that threads into a coolant jacket, so you can put it in one of those little adapters or directly inside any coolant port that's threaded. But I just use the little probe one because they work fine. So for mounting it, I just threw it right up there with a self-tapper in it. You want it to be accessible because, I don't know if you can see, it's really dark, but there's an adjustment screw on there to adjust the temperature that the fan kicks on. So it needs to be accessible, but you also don't want it to be out in the open, ugly looking. So that's a nice little spot that I usually do for 240s, the S chassis, but you can pick a good spot. Out here giving the sauce boss a run for his money. If you're watching this, Fat Matt, you better hurry up and get out here before I don't need you anymore. Look at that. She's clean, boy. So I took my multimeter and used it to figure out this wire right here has switched 12 volt. So it's 0 volts when the key is off and then 12 volts when the key is on, and it stays on the whole time. And then I hooked my yellow wire up to that and then ran the red wire over to the little power distribution block thing that I got, which is connected to the starter, which then goes to the rear battery. So now the way to test it, even though the engine's not currently running, the way to test it would be start the car, let it warm up, and then when it gets to a certain temperature, the fan will kick on. If the fan doesn't kick on, you can adjust the screw on there, and if it still doesn't turn on, then there's probably an issue with the wiring. So that guy's wired up. Everything's all still not cleaned up, but I'll clean it up in a second, and then I'm going to start actually cleaning, getting all the dirt off everything. Let's do that. So I pulled all the intercooler piping off to shine it up so it doesn't look all bland like that. And this one I already hit. I'm just doing a little quick hand polishing. Don't need to go too crazy, just want it to look a little prettier. And then I can also paint all the shit that I need to paint with this stuff off. So yeah, we're doing that. Here all of those are. It's not fully polished, not show finish or anything, but it's a lot better looking than it was before. And then I pulled all that shit off, so I'm gonna polish the top and the sides of the intake and radiator, or not intake, intercooler and radiator, and then paint that little boy right there, and then throw it all back together and do some burnouts. Corey's putting music on, getting back to working on his car like he just said. But started spray painting that guy, just going with black just cause, and then grinding these, making them look like something special even though they're not. And then the other one's somewhere lost, but whatever. Got my big grinder, about to throw on my muffs and get to grinding. Much better. Just round your corners and it makes it look way more legit than if it's just fucking. So the other day I cracked open the oil cap and looked in and noticed the Tomei logo. So Tomei rocker arm stoppers. Decided I would pull the valve cover off and see what else we had. I was hoping for some sweet cams or adjustable cam gears or something, but it all looks stock. Besides, I did notice down there, got some ARP head studs, and under this pile of RTV goop, there's a metal head gasket. So, not a bad find. Could be better, but I'm still happy with it. Kind of all back together, just missing that coupler, which I ordered, so it's on its way. And, and the drive shaft carrier bearing bracket. But other than that, the car is ready to party, I think. Oh, and I need to do the front brakes. So, front brakes, that, and then she should be good to party. And she's all somewhat detailed, as much as I could detail the shitty paint that's here. But she looks alright. For sale. Buy it. Hit me up if you want it. Oh, and Corey. Corey drove his car back and forth like 2 feet. And then I need to make him a overflow expansion tank for his radiator, and then he'll be good to drive. But that's it for today. So, like, comment, subscribe, send nudes. Do it. Just kidding. Like 3% of you are females, so don't send nudes. Bad idea. It works, it runs. Got it.